Hello. So I've not got very much time, but I did feel a little bit inspired all of about 10 minutes ago. Um, so even though I'm looking at the screen and it's annoying me because I think that the settings need messing around with, um, I look. It's a nightmare actually because if I film at night time, then I have to change all the settings to make the light work for night time. And then now, obviously, it's daytime, and it's better, of course, to film in natural light. Um, anyway, unfortunately, I haven't really got time to mess with the settings too much. So, although I've tried to sort it out as best as I can, I just don't have the time. I've got a dentist appointment. Lucky me! I have a dentist appointment in. I need to leave here in an hour at the very latest. So I want to talk about PTSD, but in relation to how the world has it set up so that we all are getting constantly re-traumatised by seemingly innocent choices that we make on a daily basis. And if we all can be really aware of the things that we're doing and the potential repercussions, then it's something that we can all get a grip on and help to stop happening to ourselves. So I'm thinking about, I did actually scribble some notes, which hopefully I might be able to even read them, because I couldn't, well, when I did my video last night, I just had to chuck it aside because it didn't really make much sense. I'm really trying to not get distracted by the pixels on the screen being so all over the shop. And I'll just point out little Ben. Hello, sweetie. Aww. Okay, so let's see. So, yeah, I'm always talking to people about how you need to be really careful about what you watch, and well, anything that you do in life, you need to be very careful. And the reason why I'm always like going on about this is because the way that the world is structured, it's designed to keep everybody in a constant, reoccurring state of trauma. This starts from birth onwards. It can even be whilst you're in the womb that you're being traumatised, because obviously if your mother's being traumatised, this bleeds through to you. And in fact, this programming goes so deep that you can have the trauma in place from events that didn't even happen in your lifetime. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so I'll just reel it back in and we'll try and start at a base point. So let's see a good example. Okay, well, I don't have a television, but obviously I do have the internet. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are into, who consider themselves to be awake, and obviously, there's a lot of people who don't have televisions too. But online, especially actually in the so-called truth movement, there is so much programming out there which will keep you locked in constant states of trauma. Well, a great example would be Alex Jones, but it's not just him. I mean, it's everything, because the material, it is so traumatizing, and it keeps people locked in fear, even if they're not aware of it. And that's the clever thing, because people think that you can watch these programs and it's not having an effect, because I think the general consensus is that if you're aware of what's going on, somehow that makes you immune to the programming, which, well, you know, to the fear factor and whatnot. But it doesn't really work like that. I mean, yes, by being consciously aware that that's there, it helps, but your subconscious is still getting fed the fear and the trauma, which is layered into these programs. You know, it's so cleverly done. They know how to bypass your conscious parts of your brain and just get straight in there to the like parts which you're not in touch with. And this will keep you in a traumatized state, which you're not even aware that you're in. It's not possible to wake up to how the world really is and not be in a traumatized state. As you're healing and getting better, a huge part of that is healing from the trauma, from your awareness and awakening. And healing basically is just undoing all of the programming and putting things back together again in a healed state. It's incredibly difficult to do, purely because there's so many ways to re-traumatize and to keep the same traumas going. Now, a great example is major events such as September the 11th or JFK's shooting. And the reason why these are such great examples is because whenever an anniversary is coming up and they replay, or Princess Diana, her death, whenever an anniversary is coming up, they replay, clips. And every time you see that happening again, it has a profound, deep effect, because internally your mind relives the actual events from that day. It's happening whether you're aware of it or not. Trust me, it is happening. It's a scientific fact. This is part of the reason why these things happen. Because whilst you're going through all the same emotions that you went through when the actual event happened, your energy is like giving out the same like frequency type thing, and these energies definitely like feed off the well, if you're giving out frequencies of trauma and suppressed fear and all, you know, these kind of emotions, then you can't be giving out at the same time a feeling of inner calm and love and peace. You can't have the two together, you know, it's just not possible. So whilst they're keeping us constantly in this traumatized state, you're distracted from being able to be the person that you would naturally be if you took all of that away, which is your calm, loving, beautiful, natural self. So, you know, this is why this happens. So let's see. I'll see if there's anything on my notes which I should be sticking to and not getting off point or anything. I think I've maybe covered everything already. No, let's see. Or maybe I have in 9 minutes. So I wonder if I've explained properly. Yeah, what I would like to talk a little bit about, which is totally in relation, a lot of people think that by not watching these programs and by not researching, like for example, if you're researching September the 11th, most people aren't reading about it. Most people are online watching programs that other people have made. And therefore, yeah, you're being constantly re-traumatised, and you're constantly going over the event and constantly sending out this frequency of fear and trauma and everything I just said before. And a lot of people, well, when I did the basis interviews, and I was saying you have to be careful not to get like stuck in a place of fear, a lot of people in the comments thought that I was meaning not to educate yourself and to basically, I think, stay blind to what's going on. And that isn't what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that what we all need to do as humans, as people, as ourselves, what if each one of us can heal ourselves and bring ourselves to the state that we would be in if all of that programming wasn't going on, and if we can find our inner peace and love and treat ourselves primarily the same way that we wish to be treated by others, by healing ourselves, if each one of us heals ourselves, then that reflects out, and so everything heals. Like there's a phrase I want, like, well, it's like a knock-on effect, isn't it? You know, if you can focus on healing yourself, everything around you changes. Everything changes. And so this is where I think it's really easy for everyone to go a little bit wrong, because even though like technically there is no right or wrong, there's just different ways. But there's definitely ways which are better for yourself and for the world, and unfortunately the distractions and the way that we're taught to believe and think and be is that that's a selfish thing to do, and to put yourself first is like an act of selfishness, and that really isn't the case. Like, we're also like very much programmed against loving ourselves, and instead to be able to love another, but yet you can't really love yourself. And you really, in all honesty, can't love someone else if you don't know how to love yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. It's so important, and it is what we were. It's what we were born to do. We were born to love ourselves, and as a natural side effect of that, we love others too. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to properly love others, because we project what we are, you know. And if we're in a state of confusion and fear and trauma, then we're going to be putting that out. Well, we might not realise that that's what we're doing, but that is what we are actually doing. And so that's why it's so important to be able to create a life for yourself which is enabling you to be able to heal and get better. That's why I had to leave my job with the racehorses, because I was, for all that I love horses with all my heart, I love horses and I always will, but I was working in an environment which was keeping me in a state of trauma and keeping me from being able to continue to heal. And so I had to change that. And even though it's kind of ironic, because by leaving, initially that created more trauma, but in the long run, it's a small price to pay, because in the long run, I'm out of that unhealthy environment, and now able to focus on healing from all of the stuff that went on psychologically. And yeah, so I really advise people to do everything within their power to create an environment within which they could live and heal. I know that can sound easier said than done, but you don't have to change everything all at once. You make small changes and then you can build on them, and over time your small changes have obviously become big major changes. When you look back and see how you were maybe a year or 2 or 3 years ago, you realise, wow, my life now is so different and I'm so much better. For example, it's taken me 2 years to leave my job. That was 2 years in the planning. I didn't tell anybody. A couple of people closest to me were aware of the fact that I was planning to leave, but I didn't run around. Me personally, I believe that you hold power in keeping things which are major to yourself until you've created that into your reality, and then I'll tell the world if I think it's going to help the world to know. But whilst I'm actually in the process of making these decisions and deciding what to do next, not everyone agrees with me on this, but I always feel you're keeping your power base more powerful, in a better place, by not telling everyone what you plan to do. And that's partly because there's a lot of people out there that would like to sabotage what you're doing, especially if what you're doing is going to make you better. And so that's really why I keep these things in until it's done. If you're lucky enough to be able to really trust the people surrounding you, then you can talk about it with them. But I always prefer to keep things very low key until, like I said, it's done, and then I'll tell the world, because if I think it's going to help the world, then of course I'll tell. So that may be everything. Let's have a quick peek at my notes. I think we've pretty much covered everything. One thing that I've written down here is don't live life in fear. Instead, be aware of what's happening and be responsible for what gets fed into your head, because we can control the things we choose to do ourselves. Now, obviously, I realise there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't have control over, but we do have control over the programs that we choose to watch and the things we choose to read and the actions in life that we choose to take. And so really it's just going again about making the point of making good choices for ourselves. And when it comes to the love aspects, a lot of people don't know how to love themselves. Now, it's funny because when I was younger, I thought that I loved myself. I really did. But as I get older, I realised that you can't love yourself and make the decisions that I was making for myself. Because if you love yourself, you make good choices for yourself which are benefiting you, and you certainly don't make choices which are affecting you negatively. Because if you love yourself, then you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't choose somebody who you love to do something stupid that's going to affect them negatively. And so if you really love yourself, and it's very easy to think you love yourself and it to be from an ego perspective, but to truly love yourself in you know, its pure form, it's not ego based. It's coming from like within your heart and like spirit kind of thing. So I always say to people who know they don't love themselves, it's just little things to start with. Like, for example, if you're a busy mother, or anyone who's got kind of a busy life, of whatever that is, it's taking some time for yourself. Like, if you like to have a bath or shower or, you know, anything, taking that time to relax in the bath with candles, or have a lovely shower, like, or if you love to read but you never really have any time, it's putting time aside to do the things that make you happy inside, that give you joy. If you love to walk, or you love to watch the sunrise or the sunset, or take photographs, whatever it is, everyone has got things which bring them inner peace and inner joy. And so that is allowing yourself to do these things and making sure that you do them. This is all like building on the self-love. For me, what I had to do, because I was always like really busy, I couldn't really take time to just be still and silent. So for me, I had to learn how to not be on the go the whole time, and instead to be the polar opposite. And I mean, I did literally, my head flipped, and I went from being busy all the time to having to take the time, because I had so much healing I hadn't done, which I had to do, and there wasn't any way that I could do that and keep going. The only way that I could do that intense healing was by stopping. And it was a horrible time on one hand, you know, it was dark and depressing and so heartbreakingly difficult. But now I look back on that time and realise how amazing it was, you know, and how much it changed me for the better, because I was always running around giving my love out. So, for example, my grandfather, looking after him, looking after my friends' like mental health, because I'm one of those people that people come to and talk about their problems, and that's fine. I love to help people, but back then I was doing it and sacrificing my own like self to help other people with themselves. It's kind of ironic, really, isn't it? But this is like a trap which a lot of people fall into, where you feel selfish if you start to put yourself first. And like primarily you have to be able to put yourself first, and then if you're sorted, of course you can sort everyone else too, but you need to make sure you're sorted. Otherwise it's a bit hypocritical anyway, isn't it? And I mean, I wasn't being a hypocrite at the time, or I didn't think I was, because I thought I was sorted. But no, I had a lot of work to do. But the way of the world, it'll keep you as distracted as possible and keep you away from yourself as much as possible. So yeah, it's just so important not to fall into the trap of losing yourself for the world. You know, it's tragic, but that is the reality. So people, I don't think I'll be making another video for a little while, because whilst I've been scribbling in my notepad and brainstorming these, I've not been doing any college work, and it's Monday today. I've got a really busy week actually, from the point of view that I have got things to do other than just chill in the house. So I need to get some college work done, as well as do things outside of the house. So I I mean, I might, if I get inspired to speak, I will make a video, but it's more than likely that this will be it for a while. Oh, I mean, I'm only talking about a week or so, but I do want to get my college work done. Like, for example, I've got to do my 10-minute presentation. Still not done that, but I know what I'm going to talk about. But I'm keeping that to myself, because every time I say out loud and break my own rules, it causes a massive reaction where then I get a mental block and I can't think of anything to talk about. So I'm keeping that a secret for now. But once I've done the groundwork on it, I will share what I'm going to talk about. What else have I got to do? I've got to do media assignments, which is actually really interesting. It's basically an analysis on an advert, and the one that I'm doing, if it's right here, I'll show you, which I think it is right here, but it's hiding. If it's not here, then I won't show you. It is, it's here. So I'm going to analyse this. It says, it's better to break a heart than a heel at the top, and then it says, in Tia we trust at the bottom. I mean, that's scandalous, because the real phrase, it goes, in God we trust, and it's better to break a heart than a heel. No, the real phrase goes something like, it's better to damage a heart with, it's better to, I don't know, it says something like, it's better to tell the truth than to break a heart with a lie. That's not quite right how I've quoted it, but the long and short of it is that they're twisting stuff, and again, that's conditioning and brainwashing people without them even realising it. Because you just think, it's just an advert, brush it off. But it's going into your subconscious, and it's changing you inner thought processes. I don't know if you can hear that noise, but there's drilling going on. And you know what the irony is going to be? While I've been here not doing the work I should have been doing for college, it's been quiet outside. And now that I'm going to actually crack on and get my college work done, I'd bet the roadwork people are going to just be constant, non-stop noise. So that would be good. Oh, well, I can always leave the house. I don't have to do it here, do I? Okay, we're going to finish this now. Does little Ben want to say anything? Even though he's looking really asleep and stuff, he's waiting for us to go for our walk, aren't you? You gonna go for a walk, Ben? Which we are actually going to do now. I'm going to get this uploaded, then we're going to go for our walk, and then we're going to the dentist. Yay, lucky me. So, thank you for watching. If anyone's got questions and stuff that they want to ask me, then do it in the comments, and then it may well just inspire me to make another video. So, go for it, I don't go for it. If I can answer questions, then I'm more than happy to do so. I don't think anyone should go through the life I've gone through and not share what you've learned as a result of all of the trauma and all of the pain and all of the heartbreak and everything that's happened to me. If I can help other people not have to go through the same process. Someone's knocking on my door. Wow, that was funny. That was one of the workmen banging on my door wanting to borrow water. I should charge him, shouldn't I? Anyhow, yeah, if I can help other people by my life experiences, putting them out there, then I'm glad to do so. Okay, we're going to be done now. So, thank you for watching, and have a good day, a week, or whatever. Just have a good time. And be careful, people. And like I say all the time, but I want to always just remind that if you're ever scared or in times of trauma and trouble, then try and have a relationship with God, and do remember to speak to Jesus and ask for help, because this is the truth which they really want to keep from you. You know, all of this that I'm speaking is the truth which they want to keep from everyone. You know, that's just the reality of things. Anyhow, I'm going. So, bye bye. Take care.